What's going on, everybody? Now, I want to bring y'all to a story of a Bronzeville man here in Chicago. He's going to be walking from Chicago to D.C. to bring awareness of gun violence in the city of Chicago. He wants to talk to the lawmakers so that they can bring economic development and invest in the black community. Now, I commend what he's doing. I absolutely love what he's doing. I love that anybody that does anything for the black community, because most people won't do anything. Most people are just talking about it on Facebook and Twitter, and they're not doing anything to solve the problem. However, my thing is that old begging the mayor, begging the governor, begging the lawmakers to have sympathy, and we think that if we cry loud enough and cry long enough, that they'll have pity on us and then will drop in money and invest in the black community. We need to understand that that day of the marching in the 60s is gone. They changed their tactics. We have to change ours. Do you see the Chinese begging for the government to invest in their community? You know why they don't do it? They don't need to, because what they do is invest in their own community. They shop in Chinatown. They spend in Chinatown. Everything they do, they live in Chinatown. They invest in their own. We're the only people that spend $1.3 trillion a year, but 98% of that outside of our community. That's because we're too busy wanting our Fendi bags and designer clothing, and we want to eat in their fancy restaurants, that we won't even stop and have enough sense to shop in our own restaurants and create our own jobs. We'd rather beg them for jobs. That's why I hate welfare so much. It's because we've got so dependent on the government to do for us. We haven't even stopped to understand it. Wait a minute. We can do it ourselves. I'm going to bring y'all to the story of the young brother, Demetrius Nash. And then I'm going to come
Message
back.
by foot. On an unusually blustery summer day, the journey begins, a footstep at a time on the gritty sidewalks of Chicago's southeast side. A charismatic former convict turned activist, accompanied by supporters as he heads towards Indiana, the first stop on a grueling 672-mile-long journey.
I'm walking because the fabric of our community is destroyed. Prison system is destroying our community. I was one of them. I'm walking for us all, and I'm walking to heal. I'm walking for humanity. We need new eyes on old problems.
Demetrius Nash has a vision for Chicago and reversing the negativity and violence that's plagued the city. So he's going to Washington to make an urgent and heartfelt appeal for help in the form of tutoring for students, after-school and mentoring programs, and job training that'll replace guns with hammers, teaching young men a trade.
We have a lot of abandoned buildings here in Chicago. There's no way we can't get these young men in them, get them trained, and get them back productive citizens in our neighborhoods.
This problem is big, but as Demetrius is saying, this problem is winnable. Mm-hmm. It's real winnable. It is no reason in the world that we should have high unemployment in certain communities.
Nash says he was inspired by the autobiography of Nelson Mandela and woke one morning filled with an unexplainable inspiration to walk cross-country to help save lives.
Let me say this, I cannot be more proud than this young man embarking on this journey.
So I'm hoping to talk to the Black Caucus. I'm hoping to talk to the delegates out from Illinois, because Illinois hadn't had a budget for 3 years. That's insane.
So, my thing is this. Black people, we have to shop black owned and create our own jobs. Now, here's what black folks will say. Oh, our prices are too high. Our prices are too high. Well, you're going to pay for it. Any way it goes, you're going to eventually pay for it. And here's how. Once your neighbor down the street, because he can't get a job in your community, he's going to have to rob your house. He's going to have to rob your car. Now, once you file an insurance claim, everybody in that community has to pay higher insurance. Why? Because it's a high-risk area. The people in your community cannot find jobs, so they have to rob each other. The guy around the corner that has to sell drugs to feed his family, he's going to eventually have to shoot and kill some damn body. Now your property value, that house that you bought for $150,000 is now only worth $80,000, because now you live in a high-crime area. People down the street, people around the corner, that are everywhere. The drug dealer's going to have to kill somebody. Now 2-3 people died in your community. So now your house that you bought at 150,000 is now worth 50,000. You just lost $100,000. Why? Because you didn't shop in your own community. Those drug dealers who had to stand on the corner to feed their family couldn't go to the Chinese food spot. They won't hire you. The gas stations are owned by the Indians and Arabs. They won't hire you, and you keep spending your money in these spots. And the liquor store in Matson just pulled out $18 million from the black community. Do you want to know how much money they put back in the black community? Not one dime. Chinese food spot, they just brought out $10 million last year from the black community. Guess how much money came back to the black community? Not one dime. And there's people out there that continue to shop at the Chinese food spot. There's people that continue to shop with foreign-owned businesses that don't invest 10 cents in your community. There's people that still go shop in Orland Park. And every time you take your money out of your community, you're taking a job out of your community. Every time you shop black-owned, you create a job for your community. Every time 10 people spend $10 at a store, you're creating a job for somebody in that community. Now, we are looking at high unemployment rates because we won't spend our money. We're looking at high crime because we won't spend our money with each other. We need to teach that. Those days of begging, and I want y'all to pay attention to everybody that's on TV teaching the message of begging stays on TV, stays on MSNBC, CNN, and the local news, Channel 3, Channel 5, Channel 7, Channel 9 News. That's teaching the message of begging. But if you notice, have y'all seen Dr. Umar on CNN, MSNBC, Channel 9, Channel 5, Channel 7? You haven't seen him, right? He's not teaching the message of begging. That's why you're seeing Martin Luther King on TV and not Malcolm. That's why they made Martin the leader and not Malcolm. Malcolm was teaching we can do it ourselves. Black people, do it yourself. He wasn't teaching the message of let's beg them to do it for us. We have to get out that frame of thought. It worked in the 60s where Martin was begging, please give us rights because it wasn't TVs, and it brought a message. It showed the inhumane what they was doing to him as they was marching. But today is a new day. They changed their strategy. We have to change our strategy. You have to understand that no race in the world is begging. Nigerian Americans come over here. Their average income is $87,000 a year. Most of them have master's degrees. Blacks, we are the only ones that's only worth $25,000 or $35,000 a year. Everybody else is worth 75 plus average income. We are the only ones losing, and we are the only ones still begging. We have to get out of that frame of thought. Anyway, if you're on YouTube, like my Facebook, My Life in the Shy, my Twitter, Instagram, much more videos coming. Check out the Chicago Way documentary. That'll be dropping at the film festival August 28th. Peace.